Hello, my name is Dominik Wagner and welcome to my lessons on Koussevitzky's double-bass concerto. First, I want to talk a bit about the cadenza. So the most common mistakes I see here are already happening in the first note. Some people go like, so what is the obvious mistake? I think for the first note, since it's such a dramatic, such a highly emotional entrance, we need to get as much sound as possible, so we should use the whole bow. The second big mistake with people that use the whole bow is the accent takes often this much amount of the bow. So we need to be careful that from the first second on, the bow has a really nice grip. So but then we also need to decide what happens with the first note. It needs to have a good start. Now we've talked a bit about that. But then I think mentally, even though you start really loud, really highly emotional already, it should still kind of get even more until you get to the C. So no. Instead. So actually you should think like almost like a crescendo until the C, even though it's already so loud, but just to keep the intensity and to make it maybe even a little bit more. So now we have all those 8 notes. What are we going to do with them? I think it's important to not just play in tempo. Like sometimes you hear people which is obviously that's not very musical. So what happens? It's something that I generally use for so many cadenzas. For all, like you can use it in bottesini with all those big figures. You first get faster. So in the end, you can take some time. So you win some time with the time that you get while you get faster. So in the end, you can take some to show that there's something even more important happening. So often, if you have, for example, if you want to show that this note, the end note, like for example this is like kind of a go in the first run. So how do we show that this is a go? If you're already like total fortissimo, we take some time. So that's why you need to get faster in the beginning. So and then faster. And time. Because here we're already so loud, we cannot become even louder. And to show that it is still more, take the time. It's like when you talk and then you stop almost to show that this is the main point. And that's what we do again when we go up. So we get faster at the beginning. And then we take time again. And then we still need to think about how are we going to end the cadenza. Often people do, they just go back, totally lose the energy, which seems kind of weak since the orchestra comes in with, or the piano, depending on what you play with big forte again. So I think it's important to keep the intensity. To do that, some people use this bowing. The danger with that is that you then tend to be even louder on the F sharp. So sometimes it sounds like, which then again is not really so tasteful. So if you use that bowing, be really careful that you don't get louder on the F sharp, just keep the intensity. So let's go on to the second cadenza. So like in the first cadenza, We use the whole bow, we don't waste any of it, and we also continue to the higher note. So in this case, the D. So absolutely, we keep the energy, and this is the goal. And then we do the same thing like we did earlier, with the getting faster and then taking some time. Then here we go back dynamically to get in the mood of what comes next. So now we have a gigantic build-up. Basically, it goes from until so from E to E. It's the first E is maybe mezzo-piano, the last one is fortissimo, as much as you can. Obviously, a lot of stuff happens in between, but that's what you need to keep in mind. So it's important to start not too loud here, so you can still have something you can work towards. So we start. Okay, what happened here? We have two small phrases. First one. So we go to the F sharp. And then we relax again. It's so important. If you just keep it playing straight, it has no soul, no nothing. So we want to make sure the music always speaks. So there needs to always be some direction, some color. And then the same thing again. You go towards the F sharp. And then you relax again. And then you could say this is step one, this whole part. This is step one, and then you go to step two. Everything gets a little more loud, a little more emotional, also a different kind of mood. First one is very kind of dreamlike. The second one is more concrete. And phrasing wise, on the second step, we do the same thing. Like in the first one, only that this time we go to the A. So and then again to the A. And then we go to step 3. This time I would say we don't go back. Normally we always go back. This time we might continue. Step 3. So now you can see the first step is, second step is, third step. 3 totally different characters. It's not only about the dynamic. You get louder, but also the mood changes. It's not just louder and you have the same emotion. No, the emotion, the whole mood, the whole atmosphere changes, and you need to be aware of that. Just playing louder doesn't mean anything. In the end, it's always about expressing a certain emotion. So then we go to step 3 and we do the same phrasing again. Only to the C sharp this time. And then again to the C sharp. Then we go back. Like a totally different mood. We are in this totally intense emotion.